Welcome into Northeast Current on the ION Network. My name is Holly Golembiewski. We're on location at the Huntsville Country Club with Chef Michael Langdon, who is the executive chef here. You're not used to being on this side of the table, are you?
It's very rare.
It's very rare.
Absolutely.
Well, he's going to be doing an appetizer, entree, and dessert for us today. We're very fortunate to be here, so make sure you stay tuned because we'll be right back and we're going to be going right in the kitchen.
From downtown Scranton, this is Northeast Current. WQPX invites you to join us as we explore public affairs, current events, and arts and culture in northeastern and central Pennsylvania. Now let's meet today's guests on Northeast Current.
We're standing here in the kitchen at Huntsville Country Club in Dallas. Is it Dallas or Shavertown?
Both.
Both, okay. So we're basically in two townships at the same time, and we're cooking with Michael Langdon, who is the executive chef here. What are we going to be making?
Well, we're going to go kind of a little bit all over the place. We're going to start off with an appetizer. We're going to take a little trip to Asia. Then we're going to take a little trip to the Mediterranean with some Bronzino. And then we're going to finish with a nice dessert. Basically, you know, I just wanted to kind of showcase some of the different things that we're capable here at the club. So
okay, sounds good. Traveling around the world.
That's it. That's
in
it.
30 minutes.
That's it. All right?
All right.
So first we're going to start off, this is going to be my take on a tartare, a steak tartare. For this particular dish, I use filet mignon, okay? But it is going to be prepared raw. So I hope you're ready for this.
I'm okay. Right? I can do this. I can do
basically, I'll take you, kind of through what we're going to do here. So I have my filet mignon, and I minced it up, almost to like a paste, okay? And basically, I'm going to add a little extra virgin olive oil into that. So basically, what I did here, a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, like an estate, like really nice olive oil, a little salt, pepper, some chive, and then here I have a little bit of a sticky soy, basically a little sesame oil, citrus, soy, a little bit of honey, and I just thicken it lightly. Okay, so it's going to kind of salty sweet.
Okay.
So from there, we're just going to kind of mix this up, really kind of coat every piece. You want to break this up.
It smells good.
Well, see there we go. We're taking a step in the right direction.
There we go.
All right. And when we plate this, a lot of the dishes that we do here, I really try to compose them, and I really try to make sure that they're very balanced. Balanced in flavor, balanced in texture. Normally, back in the good old days, they would do this like table side, and it would be ground, almost like hamburger meat, but they would do it fresh. So it was like a really high quality, but they would build the table side, so they would have their little garroton, their raw egg, all the different accoutrement, and they would build it for you. And so if you go to like a really like old school French restaurant, you might get lucky and see this.
Okay.
So basically what we're going to do to compose this, I'm going to start off by putting...
When he said rare, he meant rare.
Rare.
Just saying.
Raw.
Raw. That's what I should have said. Raw.
So, and it's funny because a lot of the guys that I work with, and some of my friends from like Hell's Kitchen, and just like people that I befriended in the Valley, like other chefs and things like that, they look at me and they're like, oh, like what do you do? Because I'm like kind of known for like really kind of complicating the dishes. Like there's always like 20 steps. People are like, how do you but it's fun. And by doing dishes like this, it really teaches my kitchen staff how to do like all these different things. That's like my job, like is to train chefs,
right?
And if I hold back, they're not going to like really gain anything from that. And some of the hardest jobs I've ever had in my life were also the ones where I learned the most. They were the most challenging and demanding, but I'll never forget those. So hopefully I could provide that for my staff as well. And that's kind of my goal by kind of doing this to them all the time. Every time I write a menu, everybody just turns kind of like pale white.
Uh-oh. It's like we have to learn now.
Like, what are you doing?
We're going back to school.
Well, this would be more of like an appetizer style. Okay, it looks like a lot, but it's a smaller portion. It's a little deceiving, but by spacing it out, it gives the appearance that it's like this big. So
there's nothing wrong with full in the eyes.
Right. So here I have some edamame, okay? Just slightly blanched and shocked, so it's just nice and tender. There's a little bit of crunch to it, but again, it's like a small play on texture, okay? So we're just gonna, a little bit of that, a little seasoning.
How do you come up with your recipes?
I don't know.
They just...
I don't know. A lot of times it's really late at night, you know, and I always have a notebook with me. Like
Right.
if you look around the kitchen, you'll see like on the clipboards, there's all drawings of like dishes, because I'll write like an idea down, and I'll write all the ingredients, and I'll start sketching it out, and then from there, you know, we'll kind of make it come to life. So it's fun to look at, you know, this drawing. I'm no artist, you know, but you look at this rough sketch. Hopefully, you know, but you look at this rough sketch, and then you compare it to the finished product, you know, and it's really exciting to like kind of see that whole transformation
come together.
Yeah, you know. So basically, just a little bit of edamame, and you know, generally I want the dishes to kind of always look the same, but more like, if it's a little abstract like this, doesn't have to be right there every single time. You know?
Right.
As long as the tartare is kind of where it's at, you know, that's kind of what I'm looking for.
It's very pretty.
So we have our sticky soy. I use a little bit of the sticky soy to kind of season the edamame, so it's not, you know, bland. And then from there, here I have some citrus supremes, where we take a whole orange, we peel it down, and we just hand cut the segments out, you know, and it's going to provide a little bit of like acidity to the dish, and that's going to cut through the saltiness of the soy, and it's going to cut through some of the richness of the edamame.
Okay.
So it's all, there's a
Method to your madness.
I think so.
I think so too.
You know, we'll see.
So when you eat this, are you supposed to get a bite of everything at once?
Ideally,
Okay.
if you can.
All right,
know.
I will.
I mean, it might be a little challenging, but, you know.
I think I can do this. Oh, and radishes too.
Absolutely. So then we're going to kind of just rest
So pretty.
the radish, just kind of like that. All right, and again, you're going to get some pepper from this. You're going to get that crunch, that texture, that fresh flavor. You know, and it's all really going to come together. I think you'll see. I have some pickled red onion, and I use like a rice wine vinegar pickling spice, but for this particular dish, I use a little, instead of sugar, I'll use grenadine, and the grenadine will kind of turn it that pinkish hue. So like it just adds like a totally different color to the plate, and it's, you know,
Yeah,
you
it
see
is.
it with your eye first, and
Right.
you know, so we have a lot of fun with it.
Has to be appealing to the eye first before it's
That's it.
appealing to the
You know,
stomach.
if it looks good, hopefully it'll taste good, right?
Right.
Ideally. So we're just gonna kind of.
I don't want to ruin it. It's so pretty.
Thank you. You know, we're just gonna kind of set that down like this. And, you know, it's important, you know, you don't want to overdo it with any one ingredient. You know, when you're finished with the dish, if all you can taste is the orange segments at the end, to me that dish is a failure. You don't want to taste any one ingredient more than the other. You know, it's got to be like, it's so important to be balanced out. So then we're going to take some of these. Now this is just a standard wonton, and what I do, you know, we just kind of cut them from quarter to quarter, and I poke a little hole in there for presentation, brush them with egg, a little salt, pepper, some black and white sesame seeds, and then we bake them in the oven. So this is like your cracker to kind of,
Gotcha.
you know, right. So just kind of do a little bit of that, maybe a little bit of this. This is Lotus Root. It's like a tuber. What I did, basically you peel it down, and I lightly fried it and seasoned it. But when you get the cross cut, I mean, you
Yeah,
know,
it's pretty.
that's nature for you right there. It's like
Yeah.
almost perfectly symmetrical. Like, it's really kind of fascinating. So we'll put that on there for a little bit different of a texture, a crunch, some flavor. I'm going to finish it with a little bit more of the sticky soy. And I will finish this with a little basil oil, just kind of around it like that. You know, a lot of people associate basil with, you know, Italian food and this and that, but, you know, it's just as prevalent in Asian cuisines. High basil, purple basil, things like that. You know, the flavors, it's really going to kind of pull all the flavor together, you know, that freshness. That's it.
So how do I attack this?
I don't know. I would just get in there. I would just get in there.
All right, I'll start with this. I feel like, here, I'm going to use this because I don't want to, because we have a couple other people here that I know are going to want to try this. All right, this is the first taste. And I'm very excited because I never had raw steak. It's very good.
You think? Yeah?
Yeah, it is.
You'd be, I mean, you know, people get nervous about, you know, raw
New thing.
tartare, like even tuna tartare, things like that. You know, but if you use really great ingredients and really great techniques, you know, I think like it's fun to watch people say like, I would never eat that, or like, I don't like mussels, or I don't like this, or I don't like that, and you're like, well, here, let me just try this, and then they're like, wow, I'll order
When you
that
said
again.
raw, you kind of
know?
had me there, but you
Yeah.
know what?
You
It
know?
is. It's really yummy.
Fantastic.
Very
I'm
good.
glad you enjoy it.
I am. And I'm looking forward to what we're going to be making next. We're going to be doing an entree. Well, actually, Chef Langdon's going to be doing the entree. You don't want me to do an entree right now.
We can do it together.
There you go. I could try. And we're also going to be doing a dessert, so make sure you come back. We're at the Huntsville Country Club on location. It's Northeast Current on the ION Network. We'll be right back.
Congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now.
Well, have you tried saving?
Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Welcome back to the Huntsville Country Club in Dallas/Shavertown. We're here with Chef Michael Langdon, the executive chef here. He was also on season 11 of Hell's Kitchen. I want to talk to you a little bit about Hell's Kitchen, but now we're doing an entree. So what are we making as our entree?
Okay, well, you know, our first course, we took a little trip to Asia. All right, this course, you know, we're going to kind of take a little Mediterranean Italian twist. We're going to do a Bronzino, which is a Mediterranean sea bass, skin on, but it's very light in flavor. We're going to do it like in the style of puttanesca, but like kind of a little outside of the box. So we're going to have our tomato, our olive. Instead of capers, we're going to use caper berries, which are the fruit of like a caper bush. Okay, a little garlic, a little shallots, some lemon, white wine. Really fresh dish, very summery, light, healthy. No butter. A little bit of oil, but no butter. You know, I don't put butter in everything, even though it's like really hard not to sometimes.
I know,
so,
I agree.
You know, but if you would like, I can get started.
Yes. And by the way, seafood scares me.
Seafood scares?
Yes.
Well,
But I tried it last time that we did this with another chef that was on Hell's Kitchen, and I loved it. So I will.
The pressure's on me.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I will take one for the team. Just saying.
All right. Well, we're going to start with the fingerling potatoes, but before the fingerling potatoes are ready, we poach them. Okay, just to really kind of pile a lot of flavor into there. We're going to poach them with peppercorns, a little bay leaf, some thyme, a little bit of salt, parsley, just until they're tender. We're going to drain them and let them cool, and then we're going to cut them down before we saute them to make them crispy. So there's just going to be like all these different layers of flavor. So I started off with some blended oil, okay? It's got a higher smoke point. I want to get like a really good crispy sear on these. So I'm going to use, you know, nice blended. All right, so we're going to start with those, you know? And ideally, you know, that's the sound that you want to hear, okay?
I know it's important to have the oil heated up, right, before you actually put the...
Absolutely. You want to see, you know, it's going to ripple a little bit. You might, you want to see maybe a little bit of smoke coming up from it. Not too much, because then it'll burn. You know, but if it's too cold, they're going to stick, and then they're not going to get crispy, and then you're going to have a mess in the pan.
Right, that would not be good.
And it'll defeat the whole purpose of the dish, you know? So we're going to kind of let those do their thing. And a lot of people, you'll see that, you know, everybody wants to get in there and shake and mix and shake.
Right.
But like, a big part of it is just to kind of let the food do its thing. You know, the more you move it around, the longer it's going to take to get that desired effect. So I'm going to add garlic and shallots to this. All right. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take our Bronzino, or our Mediterranean sea bass.
And you're leaving the skin on, right?
Skin on, absolutely. The skin is one of the best parts.
And it has flavor, the skin, too?
Absolutely, absolutely. We want to get the skin like a nice, crispy cracker almost, because again, texture, you know, there's actually a lot of vitamins in the skin as well. People don't realize, so it's actually
good for you.
Really healthy.
It smells really good.
These are blistered tomatoes. These are grape tomatoes, a little salt, pepper, some fresh thyme, and a little bit of olive oil, and I slow roast them in the oven for about 2.5 hours.
Okay.
So they're going to kind of, you know, reduce down, they're going to sweeten up. All that sugar and that liquid is going to condense. So you're going to kind of get like a much more concentrated flavor from it.
Okay.
So we're going to add those, and there's going to be a little bit of moisture in those. So it's going to kind of slow down the cooking process a little bit, so you're not going to have to worry about burning your garlic or shallots, ideally. Okay. So we're going to let that kind of go in there. Now here we have some Kalamata olives. We have, you know, we pit them every day, and
my favorite
type
of olives, by the way.
You know, it's a tedious task for the,
I'm sure it
staff,
is.
you know, but it's well worth it. So we're going to get that going, you know, and just kind of let all those flavors develop. I'm going to watch my heat here. Turn that down. So now we have our fish. It's seasoned. salt and pepper on both sides.
Okay.
All right? So we're going to go into this pan.
Now, while you're doing that, tell me about Hell's Kitchen,
Hell's
season
Kitchen.
11.
Oh boy. Well,
in a little period of time.
Right. It was definitely a game changer. It was a once in a lifetime experience.
Sure.
You know, but a lot of people ask me like, how was it? How was he? And he's like the real deal. You know, that's not an act.
Gordon Ramsey.
Not, right.
Yeah.
You know, Chef Ramsey. It's not for the TV. It's not for the cameras. I mean, there were instances where the cameras would be off, and he would keep us after service and yell at us for like another 45 minutes with no cameras there. Like, he's just so passionate.
Right.
And he wants everything to be perfect. And
Did he compliment you on anything that you made? I know every chef that was on that I've spoken to has had a moment that they remember specifically.
I did, actually. The signature dish, the very first episode, when they tricked us and we were on a stage in front of a few thousand people in Vegas. I did, my signature dish was like a real simple ratatouille with striped bass and like the saffron tomato broth, and he said that I had an exceptional palate and he really enjoyed the dish. So to hear that from someone like that, that might have been one of the highlights of it for me.
Kudos.
So I have my blended oil in here, light smoke. You want it to be hot, you don't want this to stick. All right, you want to make sure that you dry it off between towels a little bit. Some people don't do that, and that moisture is going to make it stick as well.
Okay.
So we're going to go skin side down. Okay, skin side down. Skin side down. Okay.
Now, does fish cook fast?
This particular one does because it's so thin. But what I do here, I'll put a small weight on there. Because when I put it in, you see the fish starts to curl up, and we don't want that. We want it to be nice and flat, so we weight it. Some people score it. I like to weight it because even sometimes when you score it, it'll still curl a little bit. I don't want that.
Okay.
All right. So we're working this. We're going to add our caper berries. All right. And
now, do you eat those whole?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. I'll come from the same bush that caper berries. This is actually the fruit from the bush.
Okay.
We are going to deglaze with a little squeeze of fresh lemon. All right. And a little bit of white wine. All right. And we're just going to kind of turn that down. Let it all kind of reduce and get like nice heavy.
Okay.
It's rustic, it's fresh ingredients, it's simple. It doesn't always have to be so over the top.
Right.
Like I said, as long as you're using like really quality ingredients, that's the most important.
Sure.
And, fresh herbs, you always want to add at the end. If you could cook out the flavor in the fresh herbs. So you want to add it as a finishing touch. It's going to be like the last 30 seconds of the dish. Get it in there, a couple tosses, then you're ready to plate. Whereas like a dry herb, if you go to the store and buy it, you want to put that in the beginning.
Right.
Because you want to activate those oils so they release. So dry herbs in the beginning, fresh herbs always at the end.
I like fresh best.
Fresh is the best.
It is.
Yeah. It's always the best. Okay.
That's another interesting plate. I like this one. See this one? Your taste in plates is very good.
Thank you.
And we were talking about different plates before we even started filming, and very interesting. I guess if you could think it, they have it.
It's out there.
Yeah.
You could find anything on the internet these days.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can teach yourself how to cook off the internet if you really want it.
Right.
I mean, it's, if you want it bad enough, the information's there. So, basically, we're going to kind of put that down. I'm going to lay the first piece of Bronzino on the top. I always pat. You don't want any excess oil kind of coming off. We'll kind of set that there just like that. All right. Just a little bit of microgreens around.
That is so pretty.
Like because it's that Mediterranean style, the olives and the capers. There's not going to be this, big bold sauce on there or anything like that. It's going to be nice and light. So I use an estate bottled olive oil. It's actually unfiltered, so there might be like some sediment in there. It's a really strong flavor. And I'll just kind of finish it. Just a little bit of that.
This is my first Bronzino ever. And I'm going to actually try the fish first. Or should I try it together? What do I do here?
Well, you know, I mean, I would try the fish first. You know, you could really kind of appreciate the lightness of it, the flakiness.
Okay.
And then just kind of get in there and try everything together.
Okay. This is only the second time I'm having fish in my life. And first time I'm having Bronzino.
A lot of pressure on me right now.
That's actually really good.
That's it.
I like the crunch.
Absolutely. You know, you get that crunch from the skin. You know, like I said, the fish is very flaky and it's very light. It's not overwhelming.
Right.
You know, so it really...
Very yummy.
It'll really pair up with so many different... You know, fish is so versatile. It's probably my most favorite thing to cook. Absolutely.
Thumbs up.
Awesome.
Thumbs up.
Good.
I'm going to have one more bite.
There you go.
You know I like it if I'm going to have another bite. I don't want to talk with my mouth full, but...
Hey, we're all friends here.
Yeah, right?
No problem.
Exactly. We're going to take another break, but when we come back, it's all about dessert. So stay tuned to the ION Network. This is Northeast Current.
For those dealing with the struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for advice and support.
Welcome back into Northeast Current on the ION Network. I'm Holly Golembiewski, and we're at the Huntsville Country Club with Chef Michael Langdon, who is the executive chef here. And it's time for our last course, no pun intended.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're going to finish, you know, with a nice, rich, fun dessert. It's going to be a Philadelphia-style cheesecake. On my dessert menu, I just kind of listed as strawberries and cheesecake because everybody's familiar with that. And then we kind of take it out of the box a little bit because we like to have a lot of fun doing that here. Basically, I'm going to start off with a little hand-whipped heavy cream, very lightly seasoned, you know, with like sugar, powdered sugar, because there's a lot of different components. I don't want it to be over sweet.
Okay.
Right? So what I'll do, I'll just kind of pop a little bit of that down there. All right.
And that's going to make it stick, right?
It'll definitely help it from not sliding around. Absolutely. All right. So we have that, and then I'm going to take our cheesecake here. Now we make this in house. Excuse me. It's a really simple graham cracker crust. A little pinch of cinnamon, some orange zest, melted sugar. We press that down. And then I use a Philadelphia cream cheese, sugar, and eggs. So,
Yes.
So basically, we have our cheesecake, a little bit of whipped cream on the bottom. Okay. Now, what I have here, these are tuiles. Okay, these are cookies. This is, you know, flour, sugar, a little bit of egg. We make a batter. So what I'm going to do is kind of put one here, like this, on the side. All right. We're going to get another one. Put that on the side. Okay, so now we have more texture, different flavors, right? And then I'm going to put one more here. So it's raised up over the cheesecake a little bit, and I'll tell you why in a second. And then, I don't like that one. We're going to use this one.
Can I guess why it's raised up?
Yes.
Because you're going to fill it with something.
Got it. So then we're going to take dehydrated orange chips, and basically what I did, I made a simple syrup, equal parts sugar, equal parts water, and then I use Grand Marnier in there as well, and bring it up to a boil, and then I'll brush the orange with that, and I'll dry it out in the oven for about 4 hours, so it'll be crispy like a cracker. So again, you see like the repetitive, like the texture, it's so important to me. So then we're going to kind of drop some of these are balsamic strawberries, and I just dice them really small, and I actually kind of go overboard a little bit. I use a 25-year-old aged balsamic vinegar, just special for this. So like, I don't know, it's, you know, it's like a nice little touch, you know, and people that appreciate that sort of thing, I think, would be really excited for that. And then here I have candied mint. So I'll take individual mint leaves and I'll lightly dip them in egg white, whipped egg white, and then sugar.
You could eat that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Right. So you're going to get, here's your fresh mint on the dessert, you know, but it's just a different texture, different way to eat it. So a little egg, little whipped egg white, brush it, you know, kind of dip it in the sugar, lay it on a sheet tray, and like slow cook it in the oven for about an hour. And then, you know, you'll get this texture where it just kind of break apart on you.
Oh, how pretty is that?
Like that. Right. right there. And then what we have here, this is like a gel. It is a Grand Marnier and vanilla bean kind of gel or like syrup. So what I'm going to do, it's a little thick, so bear with me. Put a little dot there. And one more little dot over here. Because it's a reduction, so it's an intense flavor. And again, I don't want it to be too sweet. And we have a little bit more of the aged balsamic here. Drops like that. That. There we go. And that's our strawberry cheesecake.
That is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait to try this. And actually I am. Very anxious to try this. I'm going to start with the cheesecake and the strawberries.
There you go. Start with what you know and then get into the rest, right?
I knew it would be good, but it's really good.
Oh, good.
It's
Thank you.
very good.
Oh, go ahead.
No,
I was going to say
say
it's nice with the balsamic, you know, just like all the other dishes, you know, even a dessert, you know, it's all about the balance, and I know it's really sticky, sorry, but it's all about the balance, you know, and it's about acidity and sweetness, and you really want to hit like every part of your tongue, even with dessert, so that's like a really important part.
Well, it was absolutely delicious, and I want to thank you so much, Chef Michael Langdon.
It's my pleasure, thank you.
Thank you as well to the Huntsville Country Club for letting us tape on location today. We had an absolutely great time, and we were treated to a great appetizer, entree, and now dessert. It's Northeast Current on the ION Network. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. My name is Holly Golembiewski. See you next time. All right, so...
He said he didn't know what tartare was?
Yes.
Right. But no, I mean,
What's tartare?
My sarcasm was it's like one of my fondest traits in the kitchen.
Bite. Oh, God. Dang it. I'm gonna take another, no. We're gonna take another break, but when we come back, I'm looking at the right camera this time, see? Right camera. Oh boy, here we go. You having fun? Isn't this awesome? It is. That is gorgeous.
It's fun because it's so simple and it's only a few ingredients, you know, and people kind of see a recipe like this and they're not overwhelmed.
I know, I'm like, what happened? Something happened.
Because I could hear you
I'm-
when he got, I could hear you when you got
Yeah,
so
we're doing the clapboard.
Say it.
She's going to get a picture of you like a fork.
Yeah, I know.
Putting it in your mouth and putting it on your face.
I'm wondering if that's strawberries and like a balsamic reduction, because that's what it kind of sort of looks like to me, just saying.
He'll take a bite.
Okay, I'll just take a bite and I'll wrap it up.
Grab my name and I'll do
Wine and Fruit Loops is dinner.